Disney's live-action remakes have become a divisive phenomenon in the entertainment world, with many questioning their purpose and artistic merit. These films, which aim to reimagine beloved animated classics in a live-action format, have been criticized for their lack of innovation, heart, and effort. While they continue to generate substantial box office revenue, their creative shortcomings have left audiences, including myself, continuously disappointed and disillusioned. This video will explore the many reasons as to why I believe Disney's live-action remakes should be stopped, even if some of their movies might work in live action, highlighting their failure to honor the legacy of the original versions, their technical and narrative flaws, and their detrimental impact on Disney's once reputable and long-told legacy. Disney's animated classics hold a unique place in the hearts of audiences worldwide, transcending generations and cementing their status as timeless masterpieces. Films like The Lion King, Aladdin, and Beauty and the Beast are more than just stories, they are cultural milestones that showcase the pinnacle of animation artistry, innovative storytelling, and emotional resonance. Each hand-drawn frame or carefully rendered CGI sequence in these films embodies a level of craftsmanship that reflects countless hours of dedication, creativity, and passion. These animated classics were not merely products, they were benchmarks of what animation could achieve in terms of storytelling and artistic expression. This legacy, built over 100 years, should have been preserved and celebrated, not diluted by uninspired and bland live-action remakes. The original animated films were crafted with a level of ingenuity and imagination that cannot be easily replicated. Considering the innovative techniques used in The Little Mermaid and Sleeping Beauty, their groundbreaking animation processes brought fantastical worlds to life. These films were deeply rooted in the art of animation, leveraging the medium's ability to stretch reality and create visually stunning, dreamlike landscapes. Live-action remakes, on the other hand, often struggle to capture this very same magic. The limitations of photorealism and the constraints of live-action filmmaking strip these stories of their whimsical and fantastical qualities, reducing their visual charm and emotional impact. Moreover, Disney's animated films are celebrated for their meticulous attention to detail and imaginative character designs. Every character, from the mischievous genie in Aladdin to the noble Simba or Mufasa in The Lion King, was brought to life through vibrant, expressive animation. The remakes fail on every notable aspect to recreate this vibrancy, often resulting in lifeless or uncanny portrayals that pale in comparison to their once brilliantly animated counterparts. The painstaking efforts that went into creating the original characters, their movements, expressions, and personalities are often lost in translation to live action. By revisiting these classics in a live action format, Disney diminishes the original film's cultural significance. These remakes, instead of celebrating the legacy of the originals they're based upon, overshadow them with inferior iterations. These films prioritize commercial gain over creative integrity, exploiting nostalgia without contributing anything meaningful to the art of storytelling. It is an approach that undermines Disney's legacy as a pioneer of animation and cheapens the emotional connections audiences have felt with these timeless, beloved stories. One of the most glaring issues with Disney's live-action remakes is their heavy reliance on nostalgia as a marketing strategy. The company banks on the emotional connections that audiences have with their animated classics, using this attachment to lure viewers into theaters. While nostalgia can be a powerful tool when wielded responsibly, Disney's live-action remakes exploit it to the most superficial way imaginable. Instead of reimagining or expanding upon the original stories, these films often rehash the same plots, with minor cosmetic changes, offering nothing new or innovative. This lazy approach not only insults the intelligence of the audience, but also disrespects the legacy of the original films. The trailers for these remakes are carefully designed to trigger nostalgic emotions, featuring familiar scenes, characters, and music that evoke fond memories of childhood. However, when audiences step into the theater, they are met with films that fail to live up to the promise of those trailers. The charm and magic of the originals are replaced with bland, uninspired retelling that lack the soul and creativity of their predecessors. Instead of feeling nostalgic joy, viewers often leave the theater with a sense of disappointment and constant frustration. Take The Lion King 2019 for example. The remake was marketed as a groundbreaking technological achievement, boasting photorealistic CGI animals. And while visually impressive, the film lacked the emotional depth and expressiveness that made the original Disney's beloved masterpiece. The animated characters in the '94 masterpiece were brimming with personality and emotion, brought to life through vibrant animation and stellar voice acting. In contrast, the remake's characters were devoid of expression, with their realistic appearances undermining the emotional resonance of key, unforgettable moments. Nostalgia should be a bridge to innovation, not a crutch for mediocrity. Disney has the resources and talent to create new stories that could resonate with modern audiences just as deeply as their animated classics once did. Instead, this company chooses to recycle old ideas, relying on the goodwill of fans to generate box office success. This cynical approach not only devalues the originals, but also stifles creativity within the industry, setting a dangerous precedent for future filmmakers. At the core of Disney's live-action remakes lies a fundamental lack of artistic vision. The remakes often feel like soulless cash grabs, prioritizing financial gain over creative innovation. Instead of reimagining their stories with fresh perspectives or exploring new artistic directions, these films opt for a formulaic approach that prioritizes visual realism over narrative and emotional depth. This absolute lack of ambition is evident in nearly every aspect of these remakes, from their uninspired scripts to their forgettable or even sometimes cringy performances. The beauty of the original animated films lies in their ability to transport audiences to fantastical worlds where the impossible becomes possible. Animation as a medium allows for a level of creativity and imagination that live-action filmmaking simply cannot achieve. The decision to remake these films in a live-action format inherently limits their creative potential. By striving for realism, the remakes lose the whimsical charm and visual inventiveness that define the originals. The result is a series of films that feel constrained, lacking the vibrant energy and dynamic storytelling of their animated masterpiece counterparts. This lack of artistic vision is further exemplified by the remakes' inability to innovate. Instead of taking creative risks or offering new interpretations of the stories, these films often stick rigidly to the originals, resulting in pale, horrid, boring imitations that add little to no value. For instance, Beauty and the Beast with Emma Watson, that was released all the way back in 2017, was criticized for being a shot-for-shot remake of the '91 classic, with minor additions that felt unnecessary and out of place. The film's adherence to the original structure and design highlighted its lack of originality, making it feel redundant and uninspired, even if Emma Watson's performance was the only good part of this bland, uninspired remake. Disney's live-action remakes also suffer from a failure to understand the essence of the originals. The animated classics were crafted with a deep understanding of storytelling, character development, and emotional pacing. The remakes, however, often sacrifice these elements in favor of spectacle and realism. This misguided prioritization results in films that feel hollow and unengaging, failing to capture the magic and heart of the originals. One of the most touted aspects of Disney's live-action remakes is their use of advanced technology to create photorealistic visuals. While this approach may seem impressive on the surface, it often undermines the storytelling and emotional resonance of the films. The pursuit of realism comes at the expense of expressiveness and creativity, often leading to films that are visually stunning but emotionally dead. This over-reliance on technology highlights the remakes' fundamental misunderstanding of what made the original animated films so perfect. Animation by its very nature allows for exaggerated expressions and movements that convey emotions in a way that live-action films just cannot replicate. The original Lion King, released all the way back in 1994 for example, used vibrant animation to capture the personalities and emotions of its characters. In contrast, the 2019 remake's photorealistic animals lacked the expressiveness needed to convey complex emotions, resulting in a film that felt distant and detached. This inability, beyond other things, were many of the reasons as to why the characters' faces seemed robbed of emotions in key scenes where their emotional impact originally made their story so engaging. Photorealism also limits the visual storytelling potential of these remakes. The fantastical worlds and imaginative designs of the original animated films are often diluted or lost entirely in the transition to live action. For instance, the colorful and whimsical landscapes of Aladdin in '92 was replaced with generic, uninspired sets in the 2019 remake. The visual magic that defined the original films is replaced with a bland realism that fails to captivate audiences. Furthermore, the focus on technology often overshadows other crucial aspects of filmmaking, such as narrative and character development, with the remake prioritizing visual spectacle over substance, resulting in films that are technically impressive but narratively shallow. This misplaced emphasis not only diminishes the quality of the other remakes, but also raises questions about the direction of Disney's creative priorities. The company's obsession with photorealism comes at the cost of storytelling, undermining the very essence of what made their animated films so beloved. One of the most glaring issues of the Disney live-action remakes lies in their uninspired and often miscast characters, which fail to capture the essence of the original animated personalities. In the animated classics, every character was uniquely designed and voiced to suit the story's tone and narrative. These were not just characters, they were icons whose mannerisms, quirks and voices became embodied in the cultural zeitgeist of popular culture. In contrast, the live-action remakes frequently select actors who, while talented in their own right, feel misaligned with their roles they inhabit. These casting choices often prioritize star power over authenticity to the source material, resulting in performances that feel disconnected from the heart of the original characters. Additionally, the use of poor characterization extends beyond casting to how the characters are written. Many remakes try to modernize their characters, aiming to make them more relatable to contemporary audiences. However, this approach often backfires, stripping characters of their charm and making them feel generic or unoriginal. For example, Belle in the live-action Beauty and the Beast was reimagined as an inventor, an addition that felt forced and failed to add anything meaningful to her character. By altering these iconic personalities to fit modern sensibilities, Disney dilutes the timeless appeal of the originals, alienating longtime fans in the process. The lack of chemistry between characters in the live-action remake further amplifies their shortcomings. Animated films excelled at creating compelling dynamics through voice acting and expressive animation. In live action, however, the relationships often feel hollow, as if the actors are going through the motions rather than embodying the roles. The lack of connection between leads can result in a narrative that feels emotionally flat and unengaging, robbing the story of its emotional core. Without these authentic connections, the audience struggles to invest in the characters' journeys, making their experience feel superficial. Furthermore, the reliance on photorealistic CGI undermines the individuality of non-human characters. In The Lion King, for instance, the animals' expressions were so constrained by their realistic designs that they failed to convey the depth of emotion present in the animated film. Characters like Simba and Scar, who once commanded attention through their distinct designs and dynamic visual expressions, are reduced to lifeless approximations. These failures to translate animated charisma into live action renders these characters forgettable, ultimately weakening the storytelling. Disney's reputation as a pioneer of animation and storytelling excellence is being steadily eroded by its relentless pursuit of live-action remakes. The company that once set the standard for innovation and creativity in the entertainment industry now appears content to recycle its past successes rather than strive for new achievements. This shift not only diminishes the impact of Disney's original works, but also undermines its legacy as a cultural trailblazer. One of the most troubling aspects of the live-action remakes is their contribution to the commodification of art. By treating their animated classics as mere intellectual property to be repackaged and resold at a whim, Disney reduces these beloved films to profit-generating assets rather than works of artistic merit. This approach runs counter to the spirit of creativity and imagination that defined Disney's earlier years, signaling a shift away from the values that once endeared the company to audiences worldwide. As a result, Disney risks alienating its core fanbase and tarnishing its reputation as a leader in family entertainment. Additionally, the prioritization of remakes over original content stifles opportunities for new stories to emerge. By dedicating resources to rehashing existing properties, Disney neglects the potential for groundbreaking films that could define a whole new era of animation and storytelling. This lack of forward-thinking risks stagnation as audiences grow weary of repetitive offerings and begin to seek fresh, innovative content elsewhere. Disney's reluctance to invest in original ideas stands in stark contrast to its history of taking bold creative risks, such as the introduction of experimental films like Fantasia or the ambitious narratives of the Renaissance era. This disregard for audience feedback that Disney has neglected to respond to reflects a troubling complacency that could have lasting consequences for Disney's brand and legacy. To preserve its status as a cultural icon, Disney must abandon its reliance on live-action remakes and refocus its efforts on creating meaningful, original content that honors its storied history while looking towards the future. And after all that is said and done, even though I have so much more to say on this matter, Disney's live-action remakes represent something that myself and millions of others find distasteful, and that is a troubling trend in modern filmmaking, characterized by a lack of creativity, effort, and respect for the original animated classics. These films fail to capture the magic and charm of their predecessors, relying instead on nostalgia and visual spectacle to draw audiences. The company's legacy was built on groundbreaking animation and storytelling, and it is only by returning to these roots that Disney can ensure its continued relevance and success in the ever-evolving entertainment industry. Disney's live-action remakes should serve as a cautionary tale, reminding us and the larger Hollywood elite of the importance of creativity and authenticity in filmmaking, and the enduring power of stories that are crafted with passion and care.
Oh, I track all my love.